Bryan Johnson, trying to live, be the oldest man. He's 46 years old, and they said he's aging at the age of an 18-year-old.
You really have to pay attention on the information that, one, you're consuming, and two, the people you surround yourself around.
Neuralink has been entered into its first human. Really smart people talking about like the Wi-Fi and the internet, and like we're gonna have a blackout.
Do you think the most important thing in life is happiness?
What episode we're on? Come prepared, guys. Come prepared for the pod today. All right, episode 29. What is good, y'all? All right, phone's running, but man, life's been crazy recently. It's been going 1,000 miles an hour.
Is life real?
Yeah, that's the question of the day. Is this world we live in, and is the game of life even real? Wow. We're thinking deep already. First 30 seconds of pod, but what's good, guys? Hope y'all are doing good out there. Yeah, we got a lot of topics today. We're gonna go over a lot of shit. But first, let's just talk about stress. Life's been a little stressful recently.
Yeah?
It's kind of good stress, though, like, honestly. It's been all right.
Yeah. I mean, you can't complain. At least you're stressed about, like, doing important things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, like, little stuff, you know? Just worrying about goofy little things.
It doesn't feel, like, super big. Well, okay. We're not going to go any farther on that, honestly. We got... next episode will be in a new location. We got a new pod studio. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Check us out next week. Be in a new spot.
Most likely.
98%.
Yeah.
We'll be in a new spot. Manifesting this shit. We'll just talk there's a fight night this past weekend, UFC Noche, the Mexican UFC card. That is a pretty sick card for a fight night. I just want to talk about Brian Ortega, honestly, and then a little bit Brandon Moreno. But Brian Ortega, holy hell, man. 4 surgeries in 2 years. About breaks his ankle when he's before the fight. He's jumping around.
Sprained it.
Did he?
Yeah, he sprained his ankle.
Yeah, he's jumping around. Lance rolls his ankle, and he just turned white as a ghost. Like, no wonder he got his ass whooped that first round.
Yeah, he got pieced up the first round.
Dude, absolute bulletproof mindset, though.
It's crazy.
Like, that was really cool to see.
I know.
Yeah, and then finished with the, like, completely, like, I don't know what, I didn't check the scorecards. It had to be a 10-8 first round. 10-8, and then comes back, wins the second round, I would say, and then finishes him with the arm triangle in the third.
Yep.
That arm triangle was dirty. And then Brandon Moreno, man, probably one of the coolest guys on the UFC roster. It's sad to see he's on a 2-fight skid now, I believe. And man, but that guy he fought, that Brandon Royval, he's that guy.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I got confirmation on the thing we just sent.
Okay, bet.
Should we pull the trigger on that?
They said yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where's it at?
I think it's in New York.
Is it?
Yeah. Sorry not to cut the pod off.
No, you're good. All right. All right. So this is kind of cool. I was looking into this. So the author Mark Manson, he wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Actually, super cool guy. He's pretty big on YouTube too, so go check his stuff out. Super informational, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So this was, I don't have all 6, but 6 important truths no one likes to hear. Sexy and exciting results come from doing all the boring things well. That's super true, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Mike Tyson says about doing the things you hate like you love it.
Yeah.
That's life. Chipping at the grindstone as much as you can.
100%. Because no matter what, like, no matter how you situate yourself, there's going to be daily tasks that you're like, oh, I don't want to do today.
Yeah.
But you got to deal with it. Some of these are kind of deep, too. Consistency matters more than intensity. Yeah, that's like, is that not true? Like,
yeah,
wow.
100%.
Like, if you show up, unless you're, Tom Platz?
No, Mike Mentzer.
Mike Mentzer?
Yeah.
What, isn't Platz the guy that would just show up to the gym off, like, one day a week?
Mentzer. Yeah, Mentzer. He'd come a couple days a week. He'd do one set on meth, and
yeah,
he was a hell of a bodybuilder, though.
Yes, he was. But for the average person, that's consistency over intensity. I think that's super true. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, I get the gym for sure. just working. Like, if you work, I guess if you just, I mean, I guess you could fucking put it in a calculator. If you work 8 hours a day compared to a hard 12-hour day, you're gonna, if you do 3 days of 8 hours and one day of 8 hour or 12 hours of just insane work, like you're gonna get more accomplished in the 3 days, if that made any sense.
Yeah, it's like the book compounding effects.
Yes, 100%.
You do anything over a long enough period of time, you just grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
It's consistency is all that really matters. Whether it's in diet, whether it's in working or working out, being active.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing. Like people, like even like crash diets. Like you see a lot of people do like crash diets,
100%.
and like they'll get to the weight they want to be, and then that's obviously not maintainable.
Yeah.
And then they just balloon back up
100%.
instead of like actually just like making a small change in your lifestyle and being consistent over it through a year, and you
Yeah.
finally get the result you want. It just takes longer.
Yeah, for sure.
Patience, long-term plays is the most
100%.
important things, especially while you're young.
Yeah. I feel like it's better to show up, and even if you're not feeling 100%, it's better to show up than not show up at all
hmm
and just take that day off 100%.
How important is just making long-term plays when you're young?
It's got to be, well, I mean, I think it's real important. We're going to find out.
Because it's like I feel like we live in this world of here and now, and like TikTok brain, and like it's got to be good now, and there's no patience and there's nothing. But I feel like the only things that are like substantial in the world are done over a long period of time.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And it also, I feel like with the TikTok world, like it does make it hard to like put yourself in perspective sometimes because you see all these things, 20-year-old millionaire, 25-year-old millionaire, and it's just like, what? Don't worry about that shit.
Yeah, but it's also like you see that, but I mean, how many of the 25-year-old millionaires are, have been doing business for since they were 18?
Yeah, that's also true, 100%.
So it's like you see him now in TikTok land where it's like, oh, I'm just now seeing him, so that means he's just started his journey.
And it's like on that same note, it's like, how much more information is out there now than there was? Like, we can get our hands on almost any information. I don't know. I really wanted to have this clip saved. I can find it, but it was Graham and then this kid who went to it was complete nerd. I'll pull it up for you guys. We'll play it on here, but he was talking about how you can go sit in on college classes. You can look up the whole Harvard education on
Online.
YouTube. You saw
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I saw that. It was a specific course, like computer
Yeah, it was a
the computer
specific.
science course or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see that. And then he said he did sit in a college class
Uh-huh.
because it's such like a big room
Yeah.
that he just got
Oh, I
in.
could totally see you being able to do that.
Yeah, just walk in.
Like Gavin at Penn State, like he definitely you could definitely just sneak into his class with him.
Yeah, like those big places, like they probably don't have attendance for, like 400 kids.
Yeah, the lectures, like there's no way. But all right, the next one was people will tend to feel about you the way you feel about yourself. That's deep. I was trying to like comprehend this and think about it, and
Can you
I
say
don't
that
know.
again?
Yeah, people will tend to feel about you the way you feel about yourself. I feel like, yeah, I totally feel like that's pretty true.
Yeah.
I guess like we were talking about today, the good you put out is the good you get back on a
Yeah.
long enough scale.
I also think it's like another way of looking at it is almost like paying attention to who's giving you advice about what. Because a lot of people's advice, depending on who you're getting it from, is a projection of their own self-beliefs. So it's
Yeah.
like, whether they believe you can do something or they can't believe you can do something, it kind of stems back to what they've accomplished in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of you really have to pay attention on the information that, one, you're consuming, and two, the people you surround yourself around, because just like the saying is, you become the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's kind of due to, they push on you their own self-beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Man, I got a couple things to say, but about the 5 things, I don't know who was talking about it the other day, but it was like, they were talking about that, and they're like, but don't think that the people you have around you now are the only reason you're not getting to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like, you can still push them off and do your thing, and then, like, you don't have to completely ignore it. I think it was Sean O'Malley. He was like, dude, when I was back living in Montana, he was like, I had the same friends. They were kind of not on the same path as me, but he was like, I still showed up to training every day. I still did the grind. And then, like, we were talking about how, or this is what I wanted to say. So, isn't it crazy how, say, I heard this example, say, you know, like a little bit of Spanish, like you took a year of it, and then you take someone who's been doing it for 5 years, and you ask them, the person who has done less Spanish will say they probably know more than the person who's actually proficient in it,
Yeah.
which is, it's honestly pretty true.
Yeah.
Like, you take a white belt who's done jujitsu for their first time, or probably like 2 weeks in, he'll be like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing now. And then you take a brown belt, and they'll be like, I don't know shit.
Yeah. Compared to like the black belts.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
funny. That's super true.
So true.
It's super true. He's actually like no kid who went to jujitsu like 3 times, and off the pot, I'll tell you who it is.
Okay.
When you know who it is, you're gonna tweak out. But he talks like he like knows like so much about jits, and he's been there like 3 times.
Yeah.
And he said one time at the lunch table, he's like, how does it feel that like I could kill all you guys right now?
No way, bro.
And when you know who this kid is,
No way.
and dude, when you know who this kid is, you're gonna tweak out.
I think I might know. All right, the last one here. The only thing all your problems have in common is you. Sit on that one. That's so facts, though. That's so facts. It's just like, figure yourself out. Figure yourself out. All right, and then recently, with some of the decisions we've been making, we've been talking to a lot of like older, I guess, wiser people, you know? And
Yeah.
it seems to be that every older person has been screwed at some point in their lifetime out of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, are we just young and dumb and don't think that can be possible? Or is it just like we were saying, like, if we're making moves where money are involved and we're both in it, like, I like how you said, like, money doesn't mean enough to me
Yeah.
for me to really, like, have a big freak out. Then I was like, well, also, like, if you're going into a business deal with someone, like, I don't know who else you would want to go into business with other than someone that you completely and utterly trust.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we are young and dumb, and we don't know everything. And
100%.
I'm sure you play this game long enough, you're gonna get burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, honestly, even with what I'm doing, like I've gotten burnt multiple times. So
100%.
it's like, but also who I've surrounded myself with is different because of that.
Yeah.
So it's like I've been burnt, but like I don't, like at least when it comes to, like you, for example, like I don't fear that.
Yeah.
So
And it's like I was saying, like, we fight each other every week. That has to have something to do with the different type of bond. Like,
that is true.
anyone I've ever wrestled or, like, really scrapped against, like, it's a different type of bond.
All my friends I've wrestled with at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
Every single one.
I agree. But yeah, also on that same note, if we got anyone watching this who's interested in wrestling lessons, I don't care if you're an adult who just wants to learn how to wrestle, if you got kids who are wrestling, if you're in high school, you want some one-on-one lessons, hit me up. We're getting a mat in the New Oxford area, so hit me up if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped for that.
Yeah, and I'll be there too.
Hell yeah.
No
Hell yeah.
cost.
Get some one-on-ones going. All right, so Neuralink has been entered into its first human.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
So, okay, so I guess I don't know the exact date. It was super recent, but Elon Musk, the Neuralink, the brain chip, I don't really know the extent of what they want it to do or accomplish, but they just inserted it into the first human trial. I guess it was such an intensive surgery that he's not, like, conscious or, like, really, he's recovering still from the surgery, so that's scary. That is scary. Or it could be a powerful tool, but it is scary.
It's just like there's so many variables. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many variables.
It's like, imagine like, I don't know. My first thought is like, imagine like AI becomes like conscience, and they like are able to hack into the Neuralink and like control people. Like, what happens then?
Yeah.
There's like an army of like people controlled through the Neuralink, or like.
Okay, so this is what it says. It says the Neuralink chip is meant to allow humans to control external devices simply by thinking. Neuralink, the tech founded by Elon Musk, implanted a brain chip in its first human patient. This was January 30th.
Hmm.
Musk made the announcement on his social media platform X on Monday, saying the person is in the recovery process. Wow. Wow. Oh, God. And then the same thing with the Apple Vision Pros. Like, where is this shit going?
Yeah.
Like, are we just... I'm telling you, soon
Is the world gonna be real then? What happens now?
I'm telling you, there's going to literally be people who are dead broke in this world, but they play Apple Vision Pro in their fake life or universe all day and they're millionaires. I'm telling you that's going to happen. They're going to be millionaires in a game and be dead broke in real life. I'm telling you it's going to happen. And it's going to be nuts.
You know, that reminds me of this movie called like Ready Player One, I think it was.
Oh, yeah?
I watched it like a couple years ago. But like it was like the whole world was ran in like VR. So like everyone like in the world like only lived in VR reality. So like no one really took the headset off and you had to conquer like throughout the game. And the further you got through the game, like the more monetary like status you got in the game and real life.
Yeah.
And it was like all ran through this virtual world.
Yeah.
It was a super crazy movie.
It's really crazy to think about. Like, what? Do you just like put them things on and just zone in and then you're in there for 8 hours? Like, I see that coming. Like, straight up. Like, you just throw them things on and you're just playing GTA, but it's like real life type deal.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like kind of think about it. Like once AI gets big and then we keep advancing technology and there's not really a point in people working anymore because robots do everything. It's like, well, what do people do then? If you automate everything in the world, like in theory, if robots can do everything, what else do people do? They just, they have to enslave the people somehow. So it's like, all right, now
I don't know that they could completely robot everything.
it's like, what can't they robot?
I guess they can't robot. I don't like they couldn't. I don't know. They might be able to.
Like in theory, like you could.
I guess they could.
Like even like the craziest things, like you can have a robot like in like 100 years, let's say, like do surgeries
Yeah.
and
See, I
do
could see
that.
that do it completely. Like, yeah, the jobs are gonna change with this technology. Instead of
And then it's
hands
like,
on,
what do
it's gonna be
people do?
how to fix the tech when it breaks.
Yeah. But then
Like,
it's like how many jobs does that leave?
yeah,
What do people do? What do the majority of the population
yeah.
do?
Then what do you do? Wow, man, strap in. The next 100 years is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. And it's like, do
Yeah,
people ever die, or do you just like, use the Neuralink and get backed up into a hard drive, and now you're just like this conscious being throughout like a computer?
yeah. And then it's like you hear these really smart people talking about like, oh yeah, this is crazy. You hear these smart people talking about how the Wi-Fi and the internet and like we're gonna have a blackout. Like they're really believing it. And you know what's crazy? AT&T blacked out the other day.
Really?
My sister has AT&T. I was talking to her. She's like, "Yeah, my phone didn't work for 4 hours." Like what?
Hmm.
What?
Is there a reason why?
I didn't. It was just a quick conversation, but
Hmm.
that just like it might happen. Then what? Oh well. I mean, at that point, it's just get your guns, go fishing, whatever.
Yeah, I'll just fish.
Yeah, honestly,
Imagine you don't have to work. Okay, I'm just gonna fish. Fish
I'm
and
just gonna
hunt.
fish. We'll get everybody pull up to the gym. We're doing jits at this time. I guess you would just I guess you just like I don't know. That'd be crazy.
And then it's like, how does money work then?
Uh, It doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do?
I mean, you could only make it so long if it really like blacked out because all the food would rot right in the process shit.
Oh, like if all the power went out?
Yeah, like the
Well,
grid. Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. Man, we went into some deep shit already.
yeah.
Wow. This is kind of even crazy too. Bryan Johnson trying to be the oldest man.
Yeah.
Um, definitely mic down. Definitely, it's super interesting. Like I like learning about all the stuff that he's kind of doing to prolong his life. Like I think he got aged as he's 46 years old, and they said he's aging at the age of an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
But also, I have a lot of questions. Like the vegan diet. the calorie deficit, like, but very interesting guy, like doing
Yeah.
a very interesting thing.
Yeah, I think he's just like a guinea pig for like a larger scale,
100%.
you know, trying to figure out what the mind pills are.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
facts.
That
I
shit's
mean, he
crazy.
takes like what, hundreds of pills a day
Yeah, literally.
to literally like compensate for everything that he's lacking in his diet. And it's just like, I really wish I could sit down and be like, well, where did the vegan diet come about? But he's
Yeah,
super like, he
why?
doesn't want to be a controversial guy. Like, he's trying to spread a good message,
Yeah.
which is cool. He was on Flagrant.
Yes, I saw like maybe like 30 minutes of that pod.
Yeah, so did I. And I kind of like it because he doesn't like, he tries to just stay neutral. Like, he's like, I'm not going to bash anyone if they don't eat a vegan diet. Like, it's what I chose to do. And there was another subject that they asked him about. And he's like, I don't say I'm this because I don't want to get the backlash or like, I just want to spread a good message and keep it neutral.
Yeah.
So yeah, look up Bryan Johnson. Some of the things he does though, wow. It's imagine he does live to 300, bro, or like however old you think he's gonna live. And that's the next phase. I feel like they're gonna start. Like I think that would be cool. Fuck, screw the technology. Like let's optimize human health and see how long we can make it.
Yeah, that's the next step with like Brecca and Huberman and Bryan Johnson, and there's kind of a wave of people like trying to figure out how we can live longer.
Yeah. Let's we were talking about the movement. Let me just rip some of these freaking comments we got on this. This is kind of funny.
Yeah, the reel's been popping off hella
Yeah, the
comments.
reel's been doing pretty good. Um, I feel like movement is so powerful. Like, get up and do something. Does a 3 hour podcast, then goes home. Nah, bro, we just came from the gym, did a 1 hour podcast, and moved the rest of the day.
Pretty
Love it when
much.
kids in junior high tell me how to stay young. Valley. Can just say any random crap on a podcast these days. Well, that's what a podcast
Yeah, you
is,
kind of
buddy.
can.
Um, Bro, work a fucking full-time job doing 12-hour shifts and tell me you don't feel old. I'm sure you will feel old if you work a full-time job doing 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, well, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then it's like, what if I literally, okay, say you work 5 12-hour shifts a week and I work 1 3 hour shift, but we make the same amount of money. Who's winning? Unless you are poor with a manual labor job, then you will always be in good shape. That's just not true, buddy.
Is he saying like that's the only way you'd be in shape?
It just doesn't make sense. Unless you are poor with a manual labor job, then you will always be in good shape. I almost feel like some of the construction guys I know and the guys who are doing manual labor jobs and also at the same time taking care of their health and their body.
Yeah, or
Like
just not
they're doing
drinking a
pretty
shit ton of
good.
beer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like think about any farmer that just doesn't drink a shit ton of beer. They're
Yeah, that's so
they're
true.
so incredibly strong, or like the construction guys at jujitsu that take care of themselves, or any of those guys like they're freaking superhuman strong.
100%. That brings up, yeah, I want to go off on this. Why alcohol is literal poison for the body, and it is the most accepted drug out there, aside from coffee.
Yeah,
And it's like,
sugar.
yes, and sugar. Alcohol is literal poison to the body, to the mind, and most of the shit we're drinking is made completely shitty, is made with a crap ton of sugar or just shitty ingredients with alcohol in there. That's literally every time you drink it, it is decreasing the time of your lifespan. Like it is nuts. I hate that shit. Pisses me off. It's like I could go on a
Drink
rant
don't
about
hurt
that.
no one, but
Huh?
I think it's just like more like the daily use is kind
Yeah,
of
and it's like anything. Like if you eat like shit all day long, you're gonna get fat. If you eat like shit 1 day a week, you're fine. You know, it's like
different.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's change your perspective on it. Like it really is that bad.
Yeah, the everyday use. I don't. Maybe obviously we're just too young to understand that, but um, yeah, I don't think I'll ever understand that.
Yeah,
It's hard to stay sharp too, cause like you drink and then like the next 2 days you're slower and you're not thinking as sharp, and it just doesn't. There's no point in it for me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only time you should do it is if it's going to enhance your experience. Like,
Yeah, if it's like if there's like a reason for it, and there's like a
yeah,
social outing or whatever.
100%. Like it is fun. Like, and it helps you let loose every once in a while. Like, not saying cut it out completely. Like, but the day, like, just know, like, it is that bad for you. Do some research on it.
Yeah, it is.
And
That glass of wine a day. Yeah.
yeah, like, get out. I don't care. Get out of here. But then back to that Bryan Johnson. He takes wine pills.
No,
Like, where is he getting this?
I think it takes away like the fermentation of it, and it's just like the one compound that like makes you feel funny.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
he definitely does some crazy stuff.
Yeah. I can
But like we were
imagine.
talking like I was saying the other day, I'm like, billionaires are kind of scary. Like, this guy's a billionaire, and I feel like he's actually like spreading a decent message,
Yeah.
at least trying to. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting though. Yeah. What? Okay. Well, okay. So a lot of people out there. So on stoicism, we haven't really talked about it a lot, but I think I can't quite understand why people outside of their circle, outside of their family, outside of their friends and people they care about will just let them piss you off. Like, in my opinion, that's a sign of weakness if a random person you don't know at all can piss you off.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I feel like the only people that you should care about their opinions, and you will. Like, it'll hurt the most because you know it's true when it comes from someone you care about.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about that the other day. I'm like, dude, I don't give a like, somebody could tell me, like, they could say the worst possible thing to me. If they don't mean anything to me, it's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, you must have just been
It's
having.
like, all right.
Well, I think it goes back to like understanding again, like what I said at the beginning of the podcast, like everybody, what they tell you or the advice they give you or the insults they give you, a lot of it comes back to their own self beliefs.
Yeah.
So it's just like, just pay attention to where you're getting any information, whether it's good, bad, anything, because a lot of it kind of just comes back on them.
Yeah.
Like, that's like one thing I've learned, like doing a lot of sales is like, when you do get objections or you do get like insults or because like obviously people are nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of it's like, oh, they like, instead of like getting offended, I'm like, oh, they must just be having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it
100%.
has nothing to do with me because I can do the same exact thing to two different people and get two different reactions. So it has to
Yeah.
do with them.
And then it's also like, if someone that you don't care about at all says something and it really irritates you, it's like, you might need to go sit on that. You
Yeah,
might really need to go sit on that because it might just be an issue.
yeah, it could be true if
Yeah.
it bothers you that much. There's probably a little bit of truth to it.
Yeah. And it's like we talked about last time, like, the majority of our world today, at least the younger generations, they don't want to sit with their thoughts,
Yeah,
which is like, you got to self-reflect, like, or you're never going to get anywhere.
yeah.
And you're probably not going to be happy. You're probably not going to improve. Like, when you sit with your own self and can reflect on your own self, that's when serious improvements happen.
Do you think the most important life or the most important thing in life is happiness?
That's a deep one. I would say the pursuit of happiness is the most, and that knowing that happiness is not, you can never just stop doing everything and be happy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I find happiness in accomplishing goals, going to jujitsu, um, like, and also just like hanging out with people and being in the moment. And I feel like to be happy at the end of the day, you have to keep working on things and improving things.
So then my question is what you just described, is that the pursuit of happiness or is that the pursuit of success?
I mean, it depends what you look at success as.
Well, like, I mean, for example, like like you just said, accomplishing goals,
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, or even like self-reflecting and becoming a better person. Like, I would say that's successful.
Yeah,
Does that matter
100%.
more than happiness?
Yeah, but also like success to me is would be being able to help the most amount of people possible.
Yeah.
Um, but like to someone else, like that success could be just a monetary thing, and
Yeah.
then I think that could, well, I think they'll get there and then find out, shit, I'm still not happy, They can
Yeah.
kind of go hand in hand. Where are you going with this?
No, I was wondering, like, for me, like, happiness is just not important at all. Like, that's not like something I pursue at all. Like, I've never woken up in my life and was like, okay, my goal is to be happy today. Like, I'll say I'm happy and I'll act like I'm in a good mood but like when I like get like a dopamine rush, it's when I do something cool.
Yeah,
It's like when, like, for example, if like this week happened, like that brought me a lot of happiness. I was on a high all week, but
100%.
it's not like I woke up and was like, oh, I'm chasing happiness. Because like I feel like a lot of people, and maybe I'm wrong, but they wake up and they all they care about is how can I be happy today. So then they numb themselves with the phone or drugs, or they drink every day, or they're like chasing dopamine, and that's what they chase happiness as, rather than kind of putting that on the back burner and like just almost like just delaying gratification a little bit.
100%.
Because like that's when you get like the biggest spikes, like when you do something like really cool, or like in my opinion, when I do something cool, or like I have a hardship, and then after a ton of hardship, bam, like it finally works, and then it's like, wow, like I had to try so hard, and then like I finally got what I wanted, and like that was a huge win.
Hmm.
Like huge wins like that, like in my opinion, that's what like brings me happiness and joy. And like obviously small things, like if I go fishing in the day, or
Yeah.
I hang out with my girlfriend, and we do something cool, like
Hmm.
like everything has its little bit of happiness, but like those giant spikes are like when I accomplish something.
I feel like it all comes back to like perspective on things too. Like, I don't know, the dopamine's such a big thing and a big factor. And yeah, I don't know. That's got me thinking. But like, yeah, I guess I don't really like wake wake up and I'm like, all right, I want to be happy today.
Hmm.
It's like I know what to do throughout the day that will make me happy.
Yeah.
And like all it is like, yeah, some days like I work early in the morning. Some days, like some days I wake up and I make myself do a cold shower every morning. And it's like most mornings before that, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this today. And then I do that. And then it's like, oh, okay, like, let's go. And then I go, I drink the espresso. And then it's like, all right, let's really go. And then I go, I work hard, I come back. And then it's like, all right, well, I know you're going to text me that you want to go to the gym. So then it's like, I got to be ready for that. And it's just like when you get systems in place of doing things that you like all day long, along with working on accomplishing goals that you want to accomplish rather than staying in the system and just showing up like a robot every day and this is not what you want to do and this is not where you're supposed to be. You don't like your boss, you don't like the money that you're making. I think that's when it comes back to like, oh, I just want to be happy today. And then it's like, all right, well, what's one thing you can do today that will start working today?
Hmm.
So it's like it's kind of like, yeah, I guess success and happiness go hand in hand, and that I also have the perspective like no matter how successful you get, there's still more. You can still go farther. It's like the black belts in jujitsu. The other day I was learning that it takes 30 years of black belt to be a seventh degree black belt. It's like
Damn.
no matter how good you are, you can always get better.
Yeah.
And it's like makes life cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like, see, I just don't think a lot of people have that though. I don't think a lot of people like have like that chasing, and like it's like almost like a conquering gene. Like I want to keep conquering life. I want to, like, that's what brings joy. Like in my mind, it's like I want to keep like conquering. I want to keep having success. I want to keep making big plays. Like eventually, like when I'm old, I want to have an empire to pass down to my kids, and like I want to build something. Like in my head, I'm always trying to build. I'm always trying to improve, and like that's what brings me joy. But like I don't. I think it's like a lot of people like get a job that they kind of like, and they're like and with their pay, and they have like pros and cons to it, but like there's not like a purpose.
Yeah. I feel like two things on that. So one, you can take two of the same people. One of them doesn't have any goals, doesn't have any aspirations, doesn't want to do anything more. They go to the same job as person two. Person two has the same job, works the same amount of hours, but he has a bigger goal. He has things he wants to accomplish, people he wants to provide for, things he wants to get better at, and he's working every day to do that. person one's going to hate the job. Person two is going to go there and love it every single second and come home and work 8 more hours on whatever his goals are he wants to accomplish.
Yeah.
Then what was my other point there? I think people just have a heart. People just want to, they almost want to do things just to impress other people. But at the same time, like, everything on, they might have the nicest clothes, the newest iPhone, the nicest car, but everything on the other side is like, they're depressed, they're not happy, things actually aren't going well, and they're just putting on this face. I think that's a lot of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
People are doing things for other people to like approve of them rather than them approve themselves.
yeah,
I think that's where a lot of the issues come from, if I had to guess.
I think that all goes back to not being able to sit with your own thoughts.
Yeah, it
happy
really
with
does.
yourself.
And like the whole breathwork thing, like I was talking to I'm not gonna say any names, I was talking to someone from jujitsu the other day, and they're 10 plus years sober. And super cool, just like how he was going through, like, an addiction is such a hard thing and such a dark place. Like, I've seen it personally and know about it. And they were like, he literally like changed his life by using the 12 steps in there. But he was like, dude, getting fit, doing breath work, doing meditation, connecting with God, like that completely changed my life.
Yeah.
And I think no matter where you're at or wanting to accomplish, like you get those things in check, your diet, your health, you start sitting with your thoughts and you start having faith in a higher power, like things are going to change.
Yeah, so like within the last week, I feel like you've kind of connected a little more spiritually
Dude,
than
it
you
all made
have.
sense to me recently.
Yeah.
Like, I'll explain it. If you don't have faith in something or anything, like how are you going to have faith in yourself? That's the whole thing that clicked to me. It's like if and I feel like also, like, even if you don't have faith in yourself as much, but you put all your faith into just a higher power, and if this is the plan it's meant to go,
Yeah.
it's like things have to go better, or even if they don't, like, I'm not saying like I don't know what the higher power is or what it, like, I haven't went that far into it, which I'm kind of interested and want to go into it, but it's like just having faith that something's out there and they're going to help you put your best foot forward if you're holding yourself accountable to being a good person, being good to others, and just working hard, and you're rowing the boat, but just letting a higher power guide you. It's like, it's just a perspective change.
Yeah.
And that's all that, like, if I get anything out of the faith aspect of life, and it's like I want to dive deeper into it, it's like the mindset change is just like,
I think it also takes a lot of, like, not to get like super spiritual, but I like, obviously, like, my faith, and I've been open with it about it to you, and like, I'm glad you're kind of starting to let the wheels turn on it.
yeah.
And it's super exciting because I think one thing you left out there is, like, like, I have my God, and I always say my God is the best of planners. And like, that basically leaves it to things are going to work out, and if they do work out, there's a reason why it does, and if they don't work out, then there's a reason why it doesn't. And everything is a
100%.
blessing in disguise, and you just need to pay attention and let time roll.
100%.
But why that's so important, because it takes stress out of the situation.
100%.
So, like, again, like what we experienced this week, it was like, if it worked, then like it, it did, and it's fantastic. But if it didn't, then it's less of a crush, and it hurts less, because you understand, like, I'm sure there's gonna either be a better opportunity that we can't see right now
Yeah.
that's gonna come along, or he protected us from something. So it comes down to, it takes a lot of stress and pressure off your shoulders, and you can kind of use your higher power, if that's what I'm going to say it, as a mental and physical crutch.
Isn't that crazy to think that just within the mind you can do that? Like, you take a bad situation and you're like, oh, it was my fault, I messed up, like, I'm horrible, like, I wanted this so bad, I had all my marbles in this, and it's like, then you take another person who's thinking about it, and he's like, well, it was just meant to happen. Like,
Yeah.
there's a higher power up there, and it was just, this is how it was meant to happen. It was they were looking out for the best for me. Like, something would have went wrong. And it's like, then you can take a deep breath and really just, and dude, like, I don't know, man. Just haven't like I've always had faith. I never thought about it as much as I have recently. I've always had faith in the process, in the journey, but man, I don't know. The spiritual stuff super super cool, and I want to dive into it.
Yeah,
Um,
which is exciting because like I'm telling you, it definitely it improves just your life, your quality of life, having something to believe in and understanding that there's a higher power and like the world doesn't revolve around you
mhm.
and there's reasons why everything happens. I don't know. And like again, this week and last week has been one of those weeks where you needed a crutch to lean on and and thankfully it's all working out.
Oh, all I'm saying is the next pod's gonna be an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Like y'all gotta tune into the next pod.
Yeah.
Super cool things are coming along. And it's just like almost I feel like that is where like the whole faith thing has come into. It's just like things are going so good. I don't want to jinx anything or like, but things are just good right now. Like
Yeah.
life is good. I'm here talking to y'all on a podcast right now. Like a year ago, like I would have not fathomed this at all. Um, a year ago, like what is January, February? Man, a year ago, I didn't even know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do in this run. And it's like, still kind of don't, but like things are slowly starting to piece together and like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. I just want, like, I really want to just help people out there, like, who listen to this. I want that to be the end goal, man. Like, if you can take anything away, like, just, I feel like we're young, but we have good mindsets. Like, we grew up wrestling. Like, hopefully we can provide a perspective for these people that they can look at
Yeah.
and reflect on themselves or the people around them or their outlook on life. Um,
Or they can just watch the journey.
yeah, or they can just watch the journey and it's like, how cool would it be to be doing this in 30 years still? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be insane. It'd be insane. And then it's like, yeah, where are we gonna be at in 30 years from now? Life's nuts. Life's nuts. We're gonna end on that,
Yeah.
honestly. I hope y'all enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for next week. It's gonna be a banger. Peace out.